Welcome back to Country Basket Weaving. I'm Sandy Atkinson. The basket we're working on today is called our Annie basket, and the material you're going to need for this basket is as follows. You're going to need a 12-inch base with 36 holes drilled for number 4 round. You're also going to need number 4 round cut 28 pieces 18 inches long, cut 4 pieces 40 inches long, and put some number 3 round to soak. And we're going to be ready with this. I have mine partially started up here because we have a lot of braids to show you today. After we finished our cradle, we decided we needed to show you a braid again, and so I went home and I made up this basket. It's named after Annie Saunders, who was our director here. You're going to create this base by cutting 12 inches around. It's 12 inches in diameter. Drill it for 36 holes and space them about 3/4 of an inch apart, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Okay? Take your pieces of 18 inches and insert them around. Right here we're going to put our long pieces, our 40-inch pieces here are going to be put together. I've left directly opposite 4 other holes where we're going to insert the ends to these. But first, we're going to need to create a braid on the top. And this is a 4-strand braid. I'm going to clip these out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. Oh, I lost my clips. Well, let me steal one over here. Kind of clamp it out of the way so you'll be able to see this braid, and we'll get it on the overhead camera. We're going to come in here. I need about 5 inches inserted in the back down here. Give yourself about 5 inches. And then these 4 here, we're going to do a 4-stranded braid. And this is going to create our handle. Okay, we're going to take these pieces and hold 2 in each hand. Take the center 2 pieces and cross the right one under. Okay? Take the one on the right and it's going to go over. The one on the left is going to go under. They're going to cross in the middle with the right one under. The one on the right goes over. The one on the left goes under. They cross in the middle with the right going under. Over, under, and cross. Over, under, and cross. Do this nice and loose. Have to do a couple more. Over, under, and cross. The right goes over, the left goes under, and they cross in the middle. I can see for the height of this I need to do another set here. Then I'm going to take this, bring up my base, get my other pieces out of the way here, and look at my height and see if it's high enough. I can see that it's not. And I can see I'm going to have to do a few more of these braids, over and under. Do a couple more here. Check my height again. See if I have enough height on it. That looks a lot better to me. I'm going to do one more. Okay, take a clothespin. Steal one out of my bucket again here. And I'm going to clamp these 2 together in the center. Then I'm going to come over here and take my outside one and stick it down in the hole. Okay, I can't get it in there, so take an owl, something pointed, open that hole up so you can get your reed down in there. One reason it's not going down real easy for me is because it's wet. Push it down in there. Careful you don't break it as you work. Okay, take the one in order. We're going to take the next one. I think I'm going to have to open that one up too. Open that hole up. My base is also wet. That may be the problem of inserting these in here. Pull them down. If these are a little longer than 5 inches, I'm not going to worry about that, as long as I have at least 5 inches to work with on the base. Careful not to break them. Reed will swell when it's wet. Not a great deal. but you do need to compensate for it sometimes. There, I have almost these pushed in. There we go. If it pulls hard or pushes hard, use your needle nose pliers to get in there. Okay, bring this braid down. We want to get these equal in here. So the braid, see how I've kind of messed up my braid? Come back here, play with it. Pull it down so it looks nice and neat. There we go. Now we're going to go to that bottom braid. I've already soaked my reed well, so we can go 2 round. Tip it upside down. Come in here and you're going to crimp each one of these, remember, so they'll bend for us. Starting anywhere. Take this one, take the one to the left behind the one on the right, and pull it to the outside. It goes behind to the outside. This is the same braid that we used on the bottom of the cradle also. It locks our pieces in. It creates a little lip on the bottom so that this will set nice. I'm going to work this all the way around. Almost there. And then this one is just a 2-step braid, has one more step that goes with it. I'll have an extra long one here. That one's left over from my top. I'm just going to snip this one off. It's really too long to work with. And then the next step, remember, this is my last one. Come in here, open this up, and this one's going to slide right in there. Okay? The next step, starting anywhere, pick up the one on the left, the one in front of it, pick it up, and it creates a hole, and it slides right down in there. Pick up the one in front of it, and it slides right down in. Work this braid all the way around. This is nice and wet, my reed is, so it's bending well for me. If your reed starts to crack and break, perhaps you need to soak it a little longer. I'm going to work this all the way around. Cut your base out of a nice piece of wood, something that will stain up nice for you, because you're going to make this into a nice basket and you don't want something cheap on the bottom. Try to get a nice round circle. A pie plate is a good, or a dish, a dinner dish is a good way to get a nice round circle for a pattern. Okay, I'm on my last one. Coming in here with my knitting needle, open that up, and that one's going to bend and insert right in there. Then you're going to take your scissors and come in here and trim this up. Now don't trim it too short. If you get it too short, that's going to pop right out and not stay in there. Pull it down and trim it up. And you can continue to trim all that around. Then we're going to turn this up here and to straighten up our handle and pull our pieces out. The next step on this basket is called 4-rod wale. You're going to need 4 pieces of number 3 round. One, two, three, and here's my 4th piece. I dropped it. Okay, have your ends approximately the same. Come in here, and you're going to insert it between 4 different spokes. I have one inserted between 4 different right together. Picking up the one on your left, you're going to go around the next empty spoke, which is clear over here, and it will be 4 over. Now this is my handle piece here, so I have to work around it. Pick up the next piece. It's going to go in the next empty space and then to the outside. Again, I have to work a little bit harder to get around that handle piece. And I'm holding it with my left hand over here so that I don't pull it out as I work. And we're working with 4 strands. Okay, now I can let go because I've got all 4 of them worked in. Push that one out of the way. Now that's going to be much easier to work as I do this. I'm always taking the one on the left, bringing it to the right behind the next empty spoke. It's actually like triple twining, except you have another weaver. So you're working with 4 pieces instead of 3. And it gives us a nice round weave. And again, it's going to tangle. Take a minute to untangle this. I'm back to my handle pieces, so I'm going to just have to work them around my handle. Give you a better shot here. You're going to weave this up for, excuse me, for approximately 9 rows. If you're going to work with a pie plate, you may want to work right with your pie plate, have it here with you, because maybe your pie plate wouldn't be 9 rows high. You could make it 7 rows high, whatever you need. You could also work with a round casserole dish. And again, just have it with you so you can measure right to it. This would be a good to use for a pie carrier or a server of some kind. Perhaps you wouldn't even put the handle on it and be able to use it for a centerpiece. Okay, this one's kind of short, so I need to go in and get another piece. And we're going to add it just like we always have. Come in here, pick up this piece that has run out. It creates a hole, slip in the new piece, hold it with your finger, and continue weaving. I'm working around a handle here. This way, that's a long piece. If your pieces are too long and they're hard for you to work with, then just go ahead and cut them down so they're not so long. Reed grows up to 500 feet in length. So that's why you get some long pieces sometimes. Okay, I've made a mistake, so I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to start again. Okay, come over here, add my piece, and it goes around. And there's that long piece I'm working with. Okay, back, here we go. Now it's going to be much easier. Pack these rows down in tight as you work too. You don't want any gaps between them. My weavers are running out. I'm going to have to add some more weavers here. And again, we add them the very same way. I think you have the idea here. Don't lose count of how many you have. If you have some of them that are in the way, simply come back and trim them off now and get rid of them. Then you won't be having so many. Okay? That one's in the way. Go ahead and work this up to 9 rows, or the height of your pie pan, which we have done over here. I've had this soaking. It's nice and wet. Again, we have to take our needle nose pliers and come in here and put a crimp on every piece, so it'll turn for us. When we come to our handle pieces, we've used these 4 pieces on either side for our handle. So what we have to do this braid on top is take our number 4 round, again, mine's wet, and we're going to have to add our 4 spokes on top so we can continue the braid. So come down in here with your knitting needle, open it up, insert that piece in there, grab the one that's next to it, the next spoke, go up to the top and cut it the length up here. I cut those the same length. We're going to have to do this 4 times. Push it all the way down to the base. Come up here and give yourself this length. Now on this once I come to the ones on the right side, I'm going to add them on the right side. Add one more over here. Then you're going to go back and you're going to crimp these pieces, not the handle piece, but these newly added pieces here. Let me give them a crimp. I've already crimped my basket all the way around to save time, so I'm just going to go to the other handle piece on the other side and add my four new spokes that I need to add here. Open it up with your knitting needle, adding these on the left, stick it down in there. Need one more piece. Okay. Come up here and we're going to cut it off. We're going to put our crimp on these four pieces. And we're going to begin this top braid. This is the same braid that we did on the cradle in an earlier show. Before I do that, I'm going to come over here and I have my four pieces left over from my 4-rod wale. And I'm simply going to, this time, insert them and leave them in the center, not bring them back through to the outside. I can come back in later and do the trim on this. That's how I'm going to end that piece. Starting anywhere, we're going to pick up 2 of our spokes together, come to the left, and bring one behind it and to the outside. Pick up 2. We're going to skip this one here. Pick up 2 and bring that one to the outside. We're always taking them behind 2. See how nice they lay once they've been crimped? The one to the left goes behind 2 and to the outside. These are nice and long, so I have a lot of room to work with them. When you come to your handle, go on the outside. My handle piece is in here. I'm going on the outside of it. As I work around, they're going to hold each other down. Working around. Almost to the other side. Here I'm at my handle piece again, taking care to make that braid on the outside. I have 2 left. So I come in here with my knitting needle, pick up this right here by the crimp here, pick this one up. The one to the farthest left is going to insert in there. Push it down. Come over to the next one, be right next door to it. There'll be another empty spoke there. And take this last spoke and bring it in there. Starting anywhere, the second step of the braid, pick up 2 to the left, 2 to the right, pick up the one in the back, and bring it under those 2 and let it rest right there by the crimp. We want it to go left of the crimp. Pick up the next 2. Bring it up and around and let it rest. Pick up these 2 and we're going to let it rest right there on the crimp. Don't get alarmed if it slides off. It probably will. And we'll go back and adjust it later. The one to the left goes under 2. Move these out of your way. Push them inside your basket. We're going to work this all the way around. This really is a beautiful braid. When you come to your handle piece, you're going to have to just kind of work around it. You can't push it inside the basket, so it's going to be in the way. Go slow so you can see what you're doing. But it still needs to rest on that crimp. I'm going to tuck these on the inside, the ones that I can, to get them out of my way. Always going behind 2. Oops, back up a little bit, missed one in here. Poke them inside. going left of the crimp. I'm almost back around to the other side. Feel free to use this weave on the top of any of your coiled basket. Okay, when I get back to where I started, this one's going to rest on the crimp here. Now I'm back to where I started. I'm going to come under here and poke these out of the way. And this is the one that came across. This is my crimp right in here. I have to come under this one. Pick this up, take this piece and stick it up in there, and it's going to rest on the crimp. Now I have to go under 2 for my last piece, which I've done here. I've gone under the next 2. I have a crimp that doesn't have anything on it yet, and that's where the last one will go, and pull it up. Okay? The next step to this braid, we're going to have to get a close-up shot of this, perhaps an overhead. I have my crimp here. My spoke is to the left of the crimp. Here's my crimp. Here's my spoke here. I'm going to follow this spoke here with the crimp on it and find where it comes out, and it comes out right here. I'm going to go underneath from the inside and find where it comes out and pull that piece out. Then I'm going to follow it again, and that piece actually shoots out right here. But instead of shooting out, I'm going to go in where it goes in, but I'm taking my piece and I'm going to push it down towards the base of the basket. Picking up the one in front of it, we're going to continue to do the same thing. It's going to follow this one here. It comes out here on top of it. Follow it right along here. It goes down in here. My piece is going down. Okay, come back here. Follow this piece, comes out here. It's always going to be 2 places or 2 spokes ahead of you. Follow it around. It goes in here. Continue to do this braid right through until you've done them all. This one doesn't have any tricks when it ends. It'll just end exactly like we're doing right here. I think once you get this braid down, and don't be alarmed if it takes you a couple of baskets to learn how to do it, once you get it down, you'll find different baskets to use it on. And as you start creating your own patterns, you'll remember this braid and how pretty it is. Work right around. There we go. Continue to do that braid all the way around. I think, like I said before, you'll really enjoy it. The basket we're going to be working on in our next program is a bell. This is going to be fun to work on, good at Christmas time. Some things that you can do to dye your baskets. You could use some natural dyes. I've used golden yarrow. Grapes is a good one. Your beet juice, when you can in the fall, save your beet juice and throw some reed into it. Blueberries. Black walnuts create a beautiful stain for your basket, but do wear rubber gloves because it's very messy and it does stain. If you use the basket dyes, and I do recommend the basket dyes, they're made for baskets. They keep them soft. I take an old pot and I put the water on to simmer and throw in my dye and throw in my reed. You can dye about 2 pounds of reed with your basket dyes. Keep it on simmer. Don't let it boil. You don't want to dry them out. The longer you leave it in, the darker the color. Kind of play with your color, and you'll really get a lot of rich colors. You can also use tea or coffee. They make good dyes too. Kind of just, you know, think in your head what will stain, what stains clothing will probably stain the reed, and you can play with it that way and come up with some really beautiful and unique colors. Keep in mind to dye extra. Whenever you think, well, I'm going to need 4 or 5 strands, always dye maybe 20 strands. You can always use it for trim work later in your next baskets, but you don't want to run out because you may not get that exact color again. I've enjoyed working with you today. will enjoy working on the bell. We can put some pretty ribbons on this. And it's the one we'll be working on in our next show. Thank you for being with us.